DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective, your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
What's up, draft heads? Welcome back into the KPC. I'm
DraftSociety.com presents
no, it's been a
Premier
hot
League
minute since
draft.
I've done that. Okay, welcome back in. The beauty of a live show. Hey everyone, feel free to give me shit in the chat for that snafu, but gives me an opportunity to say that yes, we are live. Welcome into the live stream of Key Pass Collective. I'm Joe Williams, be your host for today. If this is your first time joining us for the live stream, welcome. You're amazing. For those that we've recognized and have already posted in the chat, what's going on, Banta Grandma, Draft Espresso, Draft Tash, Banta Boys. Well, you're with us. And Pubs with Ab. What's going on, guys? Everybody else who is watching, feel free to comment, say hey, say what's up. And then for those of you who are listening to the podcast, I would encourage you to join the live stream, usually Wednesday nights, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And have the opportunity to go ahead and, give me crap for playing the song twice in the chat. But also ask questions live and all kinds of other stuff as well. So, join us if you get a chance. So, welcome back into the KPC. Like I said, it's been a hot minute. We've been busy, I guess, over this last double game week. And it was another kind of grading period for me. And so we took the week off, unfortunately. But thanks for everybody who connects with us in other ways, whether it's through Discord or DM on Twitter or just starting conversations other places, keeping the community alive. We're doing the best we can. So we're back with you this week, though, to chat you up ahead of Gameweek 36. So the draft, the Key Pass Collective is, I'm rusty, y'all. The Key Pass Collective is, of course, the audio companion to the Draft Society website. If this is your first time hearing about that, the Draft Society is the place where you go to basically have all of your draft-related needs met in one place. And so we've got everything you could possibly need there. Consensus rankings, we've got waiver wire articles, Sleepers 11 every single week, draft stats that we're going to talk a lot about those today as well. And you're going to see some examples of those draft stats that we keep up. All that's completely free. And then if you are willing, we have an inner circle where you can join and get added benefits, and that is a subscriber-only section. And we do appreciate the support from all of the community. You all are amazing. And for next year, we'd appreciate even more members to join and be a part of the community and keep this thing thriving. But that's going to get you weekly rest of season player rankings, player projections for every single game week, extra articles weekly, consensus rankings, set piece taker track. I mean, all kinds of stuff. As well as if you join for the season, you'll get the crown jewel, the shiny gem, which is the fantasy toolkit. And the fantasy toolkit is going to be literally bespoke to your Fantrax ID and will give you unique pickups specific to your league. Advice on who to pick up, who to drop, the value of your players if you're going into trades, what you might expect to get back for those trades, roster valuation for your entire roster. And then as well as now we have a rest of season playoff planning toolkit, which will help you to plan and look at the players and their rest of season value, who to pick up based on their projected WAR, their wins above replacement. So based on any other player you could pick up on the wire, which players on maybe your wire or which players on your roster already are going to have the best rest of season outlook and scoring potential. So that's on there now. Check that out in the toolkit if you already have access. Otherwise, next season, you should absolutely join with the season pass and get that. Okay. So with that out of the way, and with hopefully my jumbly, mumbly stuttery self out of the way as well, we will move right along to the bread and butter, the reason why you're all here. So today we're going to talk about some players we never talk about. So we have realized that we do have a little bit of blindness on this pod. From time to time, we get stuck in our ways. We don't really just kind of let some players go to fly under the radar. And we're not really sure why that is. But today we're going to talk about, I don't know, like 7 or 8 of them that we don't normally talk about. And we're going to talk about their rest of season sort of prospects, what managers have received from them this season, and whether or not managers have been happy with what they've received from them this season. And then also going into next season, what can we expect from them? So that'll be fun. And then, of course, we've got your Game Week 36 waivers and stashes. And then, of course, if you in chat, guys, if you have any questions at any time, hit us with them. And if we have a free minute, we will absolutely get to your questions and help you through with any conundrums or quandaries that you have. Okay, let's welcome in our wonderful, I'm going to call them co-hosts for today, just because you guys probably do this better than I could at this point today. But regardless, faces you know and love, and then Sanji, who is not here. We also know and love his face. But Toddy and Ryan, for now, how are you guys?
Sanji's crashing the chat.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. With reasonable and fantasy related questions.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
I don't care for that. There's new glasses, Toddy?
Yes.
Hey!
There's a glare.
I like it.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't need glasses, but I've thought about, just for the pod, getting some of those blue light glasses, just so I can look more intelligent. I feel like it's important.
Yeah. Get those hipster ones that have like the very thick.
I got some of those.
The frame, the really big frame.
Yeah. Reserved for very important meetings and reading discussions.
How was going into the office after 5 years of home office, Ryan?
I go into the office all the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
I thought you were only realizing that you have a PlayStation because you never go in.
No, I mean there's several floors. I work for a relatively mom and pop shop, but there's still a few floors.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just happened to find a PS3 with FIFA 15 in there.
Very nice.
But yeah, I go in almost every day. I get free food and drink. So
yeah.
So you're not going to work. You're going to eat.
I didn't say that.
That tiny little mom and pop startup that you work for.
Are they listening? Are you not saying that because they're listening?
They're
right
always
now?
listening.
I don't know what StreamYard, who owns StreamYard, but I'm not going to take any chances.
Yeah, exactly.
What's-
Draft Hash having a go at me already in the chat. Sorry, that's the wrong one. I mean, it's clearly warranted. Look at this. I'm just falling apart. He said, "Is Joe losing his magic just like his team?" Yes.
To be fair, I thought it was your fantasy team.
He's on the beach.
He's probably talking about my fantasy team. I assume
They're all on the beach. The holy triumvirate.
Yeah.
You, Liverpool, and the fantasy team.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, I
Father,
asked
Son,
you
Holy
guys
Spirit.
what the hell you wanted to talk about today on the pod, and nobody responded to me. So I
Jason looked at his team in 6
left
weeks.
my
He doesn't
own
know
devices.
who's doing well.
Oh, Sanji, welcome
Hey.
back, brother. Did you get some food?
Yeah, sorry. The delivery came at the same time that we started the stream. I thought it was going to come earlier, but
It happens.
Are you off hard-boiled eggs now?
no. Well, actually, kind of. I'm still consuming my eggs in a different way, though.
Did you get hard-boiled eggs delivered?
I don't know if you can do that. I
If
might look into
only.
that, though.
If only.
I wonder if there's a difference in price if they peel them for you or if they don't. Service charge.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I mean, I
Convenience.
saw a meme. I think it was. I think Whole Foods was one of those organic supermarkets in the US that they have a peeled orange in a plastic container, and they just said that
Yeah, that's true.
the world is ready to die. 'Cause-
I love it.
They
So, yeah, so,
they
yeah,
mark up all of the fruit and produce that they like chop up by several dollars, and people are just lazy enough to do it. I've
Yeah.
bought it before. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely. Yeah.
pre-chopped food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially watermelon. Like, who wants to carve up a watermelon and take out the seeds and all that?
Man, that's the
Thanks.
journey though of enjoying the watermelon.
Do you take out the
What's
seeds?
the journey of making hard-boiled eggs? The whole point is that you're too lazy to cook, and then you actually pay somebody to deliver them. That's, I don't know.
Draft Jafar, have you ever seen plastic wrapped bananas?
Draft Jafar.
I don't think I have.
Somebody wanted Genie to come on.
Draft Jafar. I love that. Sanji, before we move on quick, I haven't listened to it yet, but I have to say the podcast title for this week is an all-timer. Is an
What was it?
absolute all-timer. Very well done.
Thank you. I'm worried, man. Every time I come up with a banger and people are like, "Oh, it's great," I'm so worried about the next title. Like,
Oh man, you're gonna have trouble following this one up. It was Old Havertz Kai Hard.
we got to put respect
Yeah.
to the name, man.
Yeah. I
Best
like
player,
it. I like
best
it.
player in the
I mean-
game right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Oh God, so true.
I mean, I'm the one that bet on him, so yeah, I would say.
I fully understand why Joe likes it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I love Kai Havertz. You guys all know that.
And dad jokes.
And also dad jokes. That's more true. All right, let's get into it, guys. So I kind of already mentioned this, but we're going to talk about some players we never talk about. And one of them, the first one, will surprise you. I think you guys have looked through the document, but the first one will surprise some people
Hopefully we have.
because everyone else in the world talks about this player, but we really don't very much. So that'll be interesting. But
I mean,
talk about-
Ryan does,
well, just
but not
just
on the pod.
just
not
in
on the
negative
pod.
ways. We'll talk about these players and what it's been like to roster them this season. Why don't we talk about them as much? And then more importantly, probably what do we expect from them for next season? Will they continue if they're in some sort of malaise? Is that going to continue? If they're in, good form, will that continue? So it'll be fun just to kind of talk through the situations that these players are in. And then obviously, as a result, the teams that they're on and, the attack or the defense of those particular teams as well. So let's kick it off with one. I'm sure you've all heard of him before. Erling Haaland. I promise you, we don't talk about him much on the pod. He's just a given. He literally is just a given. He's like, you drafted him and he's on your team for the rest of the season. He's a set and forget, and that's it. You don't think about it again. So he's taken some heat this season for kind of not finishing all of his clear-cut chances. He's had a bit of an injury, a couple niggles this season, but nothing like we maybe expected him to have coming into the league. And then of course you can see his stats on the screen. I'll kind of just run through some of those for people who are on the audio version. But as far as points per start, looking at about 15.7, which is stellar. And then that's out of 24 starts, which is low, clearly. But again, with the injuries. And then the other things to kind of mention would be his ghost points. So he's getting about 7 ghost points per game, which is not amazing, but from a true number 9, it's actually not terrible. And then you can see his most recent games, 14.5, 22.5, 16.2, 9.5, 10.5, 10, 18. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. He gets a lot of shit for not being a finisher, but I don't see anything. I don't see anything to complain about with this player personally.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely a different player to what we saw last season. So he's kind of ghosting decently. Like he got that 2.
Great.
He got that 2 against Arsenal, but that 9.5 and 10 without an attacking return are on center forward like numbers. And yeah, against Arsenal, not many center forwards or not many attacking players get points anyway. So, but I think with that, his crazy numbers have gone down to like. I know
Reasonable.
I know this is a high bar, but he's only had 30 plus performances this season. Yeah, it's a high bar.
Sure.
For a first pick, that's not a high bar.
Yeah,
Number one overall.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I haven't checked Bruno lately or KDB, but I expect them to have had more than 3. Even with KDB out half a season. So yeah, he's human after all.
Yeah.
But he's still a first round pick. Like he's not going to fall out of the top 5.
Oh, no chance. No chance.
I mean,
it'll be close in some leagues. I think oddly enough, he might actually be like value if he slides.
But who would you pick? Like, it's just like I don't think that at like 3, 4, and 5, you have anyone that you could pick who could potentially give you that upside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not arguing with you. I just think the perception might be enough where he could fall down to 3 to 5,
and
especially if Salah stays.
Yeah, but then there is a perception there as well. End of season shit form too. So I think he has a better chance of falling out of top 5 than Haaland does with the new manager and everything. So, but yeah, I think Ryan, you give me a lot of shit about me talking about the end of season for Jack Grealish, but it is a point that I think is valid. Is that the last 10 game weeks factor in much more into our thinking when it comes to valuing for draft day than the whole season.
Okay.
Yeah, recency bias is always present. I'll be quick and then I can turn it over to Sanji. But I think the rest of the league, especially Arsenal, is kind of sussed out Haaland. He got 0 XG against Arsenal in 3 games actually. You can add the Community Shield.
That's crazy.
And KDB was out, so he missed a lot of those crosses, and he gets 6,000 chances, and hasn't finished a lot of them. And outside of that, he doesn't really do much. So I think combination of those factors has led to where we are here. But I mean, it's not a horrific season. But yeah, I think that's the reason why it's somewhat of a downfall, and I love it.
What do you say, Sanji?
So I think Bruno only passed 30 points once this season, but he's been having a really shit season, right? I think a lot of managers.
Yeah, I looked at that too, but he also has he has so many games where he's like 18, 20, 22, 25.
I mean, like, I still think Haaland is like a top 5 pick, but granted, he's still a top 10 player. I think he's 9th overall at the moment in default scoring.
Okay.
And I think only Palmer has started fewer games than him. He's probably tied with Salah as well. He's been injured a lot of the season, right? And he's still a top 10 player.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So the thing is, when he first came into the league, I expected him to struggle in his debut season, but he hit the ground running, broke all the records, and then second season was what you expected in the first season. So who knows how City are going to manage all of it in his third season, right? They would have learned a lot, and he would have learned a lot just playing in the league and all of that. But Yeah, I still think he's safe. He's like going to be the main man at one of the best teams in the league. So why would you not want that?
Yeah, I mean, have managers been? I don't manage him in any leagues, because I had late draft picks in all of them. Have managers been frustrated with him this season, or has it just kind of been like set and forget? And he gets you your 10, he gets you your, sometimes 20, and you're happy.
I think it's his availability. He's only
Okay.
played 27 games and started, I think, 25.
25. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good. He's going to end up starting, 29? I mean,
But the
I
thing
mean,
is,
you've missed him for 1/3 of your fantasy season.
but the thing is like I feel like the managers that have Haaland would have taken him first couple picks in the draft, right? By the time the draft board comes back around to them, I feel like they still have second and third picks that are good enough to carry their team while
True.
Haaland is out as well.
Yeah.
he hasn't missed that many games. Jesus Christ. I have James Madison and fucking Solly March. Cry me a river, please.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, we talked about him
First two
missing.
picks.
Yeah, we talked about him missing time and us valuing him around. I think our final ranking of him at the beginning of last season was around 10-ish, 10, 11. And then he obviously obliterated the league last season. But he came around to where we expected him to be this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, what he did this year, I think, is probably like what we would have anticipated from him. But he just blew. Yeah, last year he blew it out of the water. Like 16.6 fantasy points per game, 33 games started, which none of us thought he had in him at ever. Like with their injury history.
And he's going to hit 29 again. Like just four less starts. Like
yeah, he's going to hit 29 for sure. And he's got 50 shots on target. Last year he had 60. And so literally it's just he's not been as clinical. And so I think like if that kind of goes back to the mean for next season, if he's in between the last season and this season, you're going to be really, really happy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's move it right along. This is a player that for some reason we don't talk about either, and he's one of our favorites. Sorry, I forgot I added the slide. He's a guy. He's a player. I'll come back to one of our favorites in a minute, but this guy plays football, and
I like him.
in the league that
we liked him a lot with Ryan when he came in first.
I wanted to add another forward. I forgot that I put him in here. Okay, so Leon Bailey. Let's talk about him. My thing with him is, all right, in December, he started finally getting minutes. He started playing kind of 70 plus.
After Boxing Day?
It was actually before that. It would have been the very, very beginning of December.
after I sold him, I'll go back and look at the dates, but I'm sure it's pretty close.
There's a correlation, I'm sure. Before that, he was 8.2 points per game. And as you can see now, he's over 11, which is solid, really incredible. My thing with him is, yes, he's been great. He doesn't feel like a long-term answer to that positional need. And then also, how has he not gotten injured?
Unai, man.
Yeah, but do you expect Unai to keep it up next season?
No, I think he's probably going to be a trap in the draft, I assume. I think Diaby will probably be up to speed. Bailey might start the odd game, but I think he might be an impact sub. Yeah, he's not. Despite having a great season, and yeah, I can't diminish that at all. Been a pleasant surprise, but he's not going to be high on my draft board. I don't think.
Yeah,
unless
I mean,
unless I pair him with like another Villa forward like Diaby, just in case.
Sure. 6.4 ghosts per game. Not great. Worse than Holland. And I mean, like here. Actually, 1 second. Let me look at his GACS. So his goal assist clean sheet percentage, meaning he relies on goals and assists and clean sheets for what percentage of his fantasy score? 44%, which is not the worst. It's not great though. You're looking for somebody more around 30, ideally.
Yeah, but for a forward, that's fine.
Yeah, it is.
That's absolutely fine, I think. The issue with him has always been and will always be, like you said, Joe, in the slide as well. When is the next injury coming?
Yeah.
And if you can, that's what he's kind of the guy who we always say ride until the wheels come off situation. Like you can never trade him for value if he's doing well, because everyone will be asking you, have you heard anything about an injury or something like that? Because everyone will be suspicious. Exactly. And even you will be wanting to trade out on the basis of fearing an injury and trying to trade out on a relative high. So if you got him, kudos, and he's probably won you a few game weeks because you relied on him as a forward 3, and he brought home the bacon. But other than that, I'm with Ryan. I don't want to touch him next season. I'll happily stream him if he's on the wire and he starts, but I don't want to spend draft capital on him.
Okay. So he's kind of on your not quite do not draft list, but
it's like avoid until round 10.
Okay. You're not gonna get him there.
Yeah, I could see him going like 5.
Yeah,
like 7 or something for me.
Yeah, 5 to 7.
You're drafting today. Would you rather take
Love these
Leon Bailey or Timo Werner?
Assuming Timo Werner is in the league.
You're drafting today.
Bailey.
Bailey.
Okay. All right. So let's move up a bit. Bailey.
Where do you go from Werner? My God.
Exactly. I mean, we've reached the pinnacle. Bailey or Richarlison?
Bailey.
Are you drafting for next season or for the rest of the season, or what? Or just drafting?
Do you have a death wish?
Just drafting for the fun of it? Do you have a gun put to your head that you have to draft?
I'll go best case scenario Richarlison.
Yeah, I'd go Richarlison as well.
Draft Jafar's comment is incredible. Getting hit by a bus, Bailey, and then Werner.
Depends on the insurance policy.
Yeah. And are you in a crosswalk? Because you can get money for that if you sue.
Yeah. Is it a fatal bus injury?
Ideally not. Oh man. Would you go Cunha over Bailey?
Cunha all
100%.
Okay. All right. So there we are. So yeah. I mean, wait. Where do you think Cunha will go in the draft?
5th.
Third?
I said 5th.
I could see him going late 3rd.
Oh Lord. I think I'm hoping it's more along the lines of 5th.
Yeah, I'm not saying I would take him in the late 3rd, but I could see if you went like mid and the forward run was going, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how the forward pool shakes out, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he should be like at the top end of the second tier of forwards.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, it depends on if O'Neal stays. Yeah, it's a lot of factors, but yeah, drafting today.
Guys, I thought I was on the beach, but this draft talk's getting me excited.
Would you rather
fire up a mock if you want?
João Pedro for next season drafting for next season? Joe Pedro or Mateus Cunha?
Cunha.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bailey. Cunha.
Yeah.
Not
No.
Cunha.
We're off
Yeah.
Bailey now.
Not Cunha.
There's a reason we haven't talked about him.
Cunha not close. Give me somebody who's not managed by De Zerbi.
Yeah, I think I would Cunha too, but it's
I
not.
think it's close.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, it's not as far away as it probably should be.
Okay.
I think the shine will be somewhat off O'Neill as well. Like not as much as Emery, but I doubt that Wolves have, or O'Neill rather, has such a productive season.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like he's a new entity, though. I mean,
Cunha's role, Cunha's production is new.
yeah.
We've seen him play, and we wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah, but he's also been doing it with scrubs. That's the thing that I'm worried about.
That's
Wolves
fair,
is going to
that's
get
fair.
dinged, and they haven't spent anything, so it's not like they're going to build around Cunha. So
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably have a similar-ish season. I'm just not expecting him to progress or be better or be more consistent or me.
I mean, if he had the exact same season bar the recent injury, I'd be happy as a clam.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is he has to be overperforming XG, right? Like he's having one of those Jamie Vardy seasons. It feels like he should be.
Is he even scoring that many goals? I think it's just his overall
He ghosts a lot
production. Yeah.
in bunches, I should say. I don't think it's consistent, but it's like he's had some 15-point ghost point performances.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Another one I missed out on, so I don't really know.
11 goals, 7 assists,
Damn. Yeah.
26 starts.
It's well rounded. All right.
And he is scoring those 11 goals from 9.5 xG, which is decent.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Not enough to turn you off.
He's had some penalties as well, right?
Yeah, it's not like Wong.
Like
Who's scoring
handful,
11
though.
goals from 7 xG.
See, but yeah, I
And he does
called,
nothing
I
else.
That. Yeah, he does nothing else.
Yeah.
So not
I
like
feel more
Darwin,
comfortable with Cunha.
who scores 11 goals from 19 xG.
How much? What's Holland's XG?
What's Haaland's xG?
Yeah.
Haaland is on 25 and he's scoring 21. So he's definitely underperforming his usual overperformance, if that makes sense.
I mean, it should be more than 25.
The 25.75 is his xG. I think you would expect him to score around 27 goals of that.
Yeah, I'm just questioning the validity of the XG numbers because every time I see him, it's at least a couple sitters a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
All right. How about that guy that I was alluding to earlier?
I'm curious who the hell it is.
The one that we all know and love. The one that we don't talk about very often because he just is. But recently it's been trouble in paradise. This is one James Ward-Prowse.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep. Trouble in paradise. So we're about to go through a stretch of talking about 5 or 6 different midfielders. He is just barely a tier above kind of the rest of them that we're going to talk about. But I'm going to be curious to hear your take on, if you had to pick, let's say 2 of these guys that we're about to talk about, all these midfielders, which of them you would want on your team to be like the spine, the backbone of your squad. But James Ward-Prowse. Okay. So if you look at,
sorry, is this right now or next season?
for next season, but we're going to talk about him in the context of what's happened recently with him. So 11.3 points per start, which is solid. You love that. Mid 1 to 2 numbers. I mean, he just does what he does, but he's always been Mr. Consistent. That's what we love about him, right? Still getting ghost points, 8.2 per game, which is great. But then you look at his recent numbers, and they're pretty concerning. You've got a couple 10 plus, but for the most part, we have 3 in 5 minutes. We have 1.5 in 83 minutes versus Newcastle. We have 8 against Tottenham, which, I mean, come on, you should be getting more than that against Spurs. Yeah, I mean, again, against Liverpool, only played 15 minutes. He's just been really struggling, and then now it's looking like he's actually his play time's come into question. So what do we do with Ward-Prowse, and have you been happy with him as a manager this season? And then next season, what do we expect?
I think he's dining off, obviously, his earlier part of the season with that 11.3 number. I think I'm torn because I was going to say I think he might be value next season because I think Paqueta is probably going to leave, which frees up probably the penalties and probably another slot in the midfield. But at the same time, he's JWP and he has that name recognition. So there's only so far that he's going to slide before somebody's like, oh yeah, I know that guy, and I pick him before the third round. But I mean, if a new manager comes in, JWP's, unless you have a plan for him, I mean, he's kind of tough to fit into the lineup because I hate to say it. I mean, outside of set pieces, he doesn't do an awful lot. He's not a CDM. He doesn't, do that all that well. And he's not like a quick dribbling playmaker. It's set pieces and kind of dead ball situations. So a new school manager like Amorim comes in there. I don't know if he fits in JWP bar an injury. So it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not just like any random set piece taker. I would say he's like elite.
Oh, of course.
As well. Like he gets like goals for that team just from set pieces. Like it's not just like getting assists and stuff. So,
but the disparity between that and somebody else taking set pieces, between somebody else being on the pitch and doing other things, and his on the pitch production outside of set pieces, is the kind of cost benefit analysis that you need to do.
Since January 1st, he's had 1 assist.
And Bowen's been taking a lot of the corners as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
to good effect.
I can't see
Don't remind me.
an appointment that would help him, honestly. Like other than Allardyce or some other Daesh or some other shit like that coming in.
Speak it into existence.
I don't see an appointment that helps him. And even if Moyes stays, he's off the wagon. He's out of the team. Even if Paqueta goes, they will get a shit ton of money for him.
Yeah.
And they will reinvest in that midfield. I'm sure of it. So yeah, I think the writing's on the wall for JWP I think he's going to be stuck as a rotation option at West Ham until his current contract runs out, and then at age 30 something we will get our man back as he goes down the tier. Yeah, down the tier, and then maybe goes to a struggling Premier League team to get them.
That would be the money shot if he went to slightly further down mid-table club.
Pull to Barkley.
Yeah.
If he went to Chelsea or something.
I mean, so what you guys are saying, I mean, if you kind of put the pieces together, what you guys are saying is like, I mean, essentially, he's so the poor patch from now to the end of the season, even if it continues, is not going to be enough to dissuade people from drafting him based upon his name value. So
and his numbers, which are
his
masked
numbers.
by earlier on. Yeah,
of course. So what we're looking at is going to be, according to what you guys have just told me, basically a kind of a massive overdrafting of JWP. So at that draft slot, it sounds like you're out. Like he's a D&D for you.
Yeah, unless the only situation where I'd see him do well is if West Ham stick with Moyes and they fuck up the transfer window and sell Paqueta, but sell him too late and then struggle to bring in anyone and which is, I think it's a viable scenario. Like it's not out of the realm of possibility, but yeah, other than that, I just don't see a situation where he is back to his old self.
I like it. Okay. Up next we have guys, there's no excuse for this. I'm so sorry. I forgot to change the comments that I made about James Ward-Prowse for Conor Gallagher. So of course,
man, what's with you?
He's not West Ham United's playmaker, so we can answer that question pretty quickly.
Okay, and I don't think his managers are frustrated.
I doubt it.
Are
the numbers correct though? Yeah,
the numbers are correct. The numbers are correct, and they are different than James Ward-Prowse. I promise you that. So, so that's what I want to focus on, because, like I told you, the next 4 players are going to be pretty similar in terms of their numbers, and it's going to be interesting to kind of parse them out and figure out which ones you're interested in for next year versus which ones you're not. So, Conor Gallagher, 9.9 points per start. He's been fantastic. Are you laughing at Pub's comment?
That is a great comment.
I'm having a Darwin Nunez of a show. Oh, Lord.
He's scoring 0 goals of 5 XG.
Yep. That's all right. At least we're racking up the XG, guys. Okay. What I love is percent of starts 100 and percent SIS, which is basically if they're fit and named into the match day squad, do they start? 100% for him, which is almost unheard of. Ghost points 8, which are fantastic. And then if you look at his numbers, he does have some down matches, but for the most part, I mean, he's pretty steady Eddie. He's not going to be your Cole Palmer, of course. He's not doing as much, but he's a pretty solid little co-pilot for Cole Palmer. And in terms of fantasy, it's been the numbers pan out.
He's gonna cost me.
Just laughing at the co-pilot.
That's a great way to describe him. I mean, but we don't know what's gonna happen with Chelsea next season, eh? So
I mean, I'm pretty much certain that Gallagher is not going to be there.
Not going to be there?
There's a good chance.
I mean, they need to sell him so that they're not starting on minus 15.
And he's the only one that doesn't have a 9-year contract on the books.
And also, he's the only one that counts as pure profit. Him and Trevor Chalobah, I think. Obviously, no one's going to take Reece James.
No.
Maybe with a very handsome insurance package.
Performance related.
But I doubt they want to sell Reece James a year after naming him captain.
No, I doubt that happens.
But they're going to probably have to sell Gallagher.
Yeah.
And Spurs are very interested, which is an interesting proposition, I think, because he is much better in real life and in fantasy than any of the players they have in the midfield besides Maddison. So he could essentially do the same role as he's doing for Cole Palmer now at Spurs for Maddison, as sort of facilitator, the defensive midfielder who is allowed to move forward next to Bissouma or Sarr or whoever is in there.
Yeah.
Which is a decent punt. I think
They have so many of those players. They have so many, like you said, Bissouma, Sarr. I mean, Højbjerg's leaving, right? Bentancur.
Højbjerg's probably leaving.
He's gone.
Yeah, but those three are similarly challenged.
Or he ends up
It's not like they're disabled.
or he ends up like Mason Mount at United.
Right.
He could well.
Doesn't seem injury prone. I mean, he's been a stalwart this year.
I'd love to have him back at Palace.
No.
The purple patch is not coming back.
No.
A goal scoring one at least.
No, but anywhere where he can play like an attacking role, he would be good. I think for fantasy.
I could see him going to Palace actually, but it's the money, right? How much are Palace going to be able to spend unless they sell one of Elise or Eze, which I think some of us are expecting.
Yeah,
so
and
tough for him to take.
Not because they want to.
I'd love to see him at somewhere like Brighton as well, and they have the money because they've just sold you guys.
I mean, we basically just send players back and forth, right? So.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, they would be able to pay you half the fee you paid for Cucurella and then get Conor Gallagher.
I could see Forrest probably.
Assuming they're still in the league.
Assuming they are still in the league.
Yeah. I mean, of course, yes.
I've read somewhere that they're getting a point back from that 2-point deduction.
Are you kidding me? Imagine if you're Luton and you're like level but have better goal difference at the end and they give them a fucking point back.
Yeah.
Maybe Luton will tweet.
Imagine if you're any team not named Man City and there are teams getting points deducted from actual season's play. Like it's affecting their fucking season right now, and then Man City's getting nothing. I imagine
there'll be a hearing soon. Don't worry.
Definitely. I'll hold my breath and wait.
Yeah, on the edge of our seats.
Yeah. Okay, so
I think there are a lot of great potential spots for Gallagher to end up in. Even if he stays at Chelsea, he's primed to replicate this year's performance.
So he's not going to lose value.
So I'm definitely looking at him at next season's draft.
And you think maybe to replicate similar numbers? I know it's hard to say, but let's say actually, hold on.
Could be more if he goes to a place where he's got more set pieces.
Yeah.
Or if he's the attacking.
Or he's more attacking, yeah.
Okay, the Crystal Palace season that we all talk about. He was 10.2 fantasy points per game, according to Fantrax. Currently, he's at 10 at Chelsea. So this is, I mean, the season that we all think about so lovingly. He's basically doing it this year.
No, he's got 4 goals, right?
4 goals, 6 assists. He had 8 goals, 3 assists that season.
Oh, I thought you were saying 10 goals. Okay.
Right. No, 10 points per game.
Okay, yeah.
And then 10.2 was his Crystal Palace season, in which he became the fantasy darling that he was for a while.
Yeah.
I think he's the opposite of James Ward-Prowse for next season draft. You'll be able to get him at value.
I like it.
Even after this season, I think.
Okay.
The issue is that there are always Chelsea fans in every league, and they will be reaching. But yeah, I think I can see him falling to like round 6-ish, and I would be happy to get him there.
Okay. All right. So that 10.0, that 10-ish points per start is kind of what we're looking at, what we're dealing with. So let's go to another player who falls into that category. Bruno G. Bruno G. I know. And trust me, I have the same response. Someone tells me about Bruno G. Do I want to trade for him? No. Do I want to draft him? No. But then I started looking at the numbers.
I know.
And unfortunately, we
1, 2, 3 Premier League titles. I thought you were going to do a Jose-ish rant.
Respect.
We just weren't. I mean, we devalued him way too much.
No,
yeah,
I
I
mean
dropped him.
circumstances changed. I mean, their midfield's been gutted, and so now he's been relied upon to score goals and do
True.
more, which is what happened when he first hit the league, and then much of the early part of the season he was just CDM numbers.
Yeah, if they had a healthy Willock and non-suspended Tonali next to him, I think he'd be droppable.
Yeah, the Tonali factor is what kind of changes things next season.
He's out for the whole of next season as well, right?
Oh, wait, is he?
I thought he
I
was.
thought it was 10.
That'd be
plus
hilarious.
I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
I'm gonna look it up.
The entire next season?
Yeah, 10 months. And he got hit in October. So, oh no, he'll be.
No, August.
That'd be August. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
okay.
he's back.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah.
So
But
that was
they
like
did it
harsh.
on
Next season, surely they would have sold him.
24
yeah,
months.
Oh, Joe Linton coming back. That's true. Somebody mentioned
the whole
Pubs and Ad
midfield.
mentioned that.
Harvey Barnes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When is he gonna come back?
Harvey Barnes. Yeah, definitely Harvey Barnes. Yeah, I mean, but when you look at the numbers, 7.9 ghosts, you got to love that. 10.0 points per start, which that's our generally what we're looking at with these few players we're going to be talking about. 22, 6, 18, 23, 17, 3.5 in his last, handful of games. He's been lights out. He's been great. And one of those, maybe he'll get you a stinker every now and then, but he's never going to blank you. And he might, sorry, go ahead. The Amazon guy's here.
Give him hell.
Yeah, I think if you lucked into having him or picking him up before he started this purple patch, then you are counting your chickens.
You are.
So you're leaving him to other people then next draft, like next season's draft.
I am.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well,
You're
you
not,
guys alluded.
Sanji? You're not?
No, I think yeah, I agree. It's the unpredictable. I don't want to rely on that unpredictability. The fact his dynamic changes in that team so much, you'd want somebody way more consistent in their role, right, and what they do for that team.
That's a good
Just
point.
like Joe said, if we're looking at valuing JWP, Gallagher, and Guimaraes, I'd rather have Gallagher, even if I didn't know where he was going to end up at the end of August, than Guimaraes.
Yeah. Well, we still have two more players that you can choose from.
Okay, sorry.
Remember,
Scratch
you get
that. Edit that out.
No. It's fine. It's fine.
Non-relevant
You get
information.
to choose two of these five to be the backbone of your team. So
Okay.
so far we have JWP, Connor Gallagher, Bruno G.
Is it going to be a draft type so we can?
Wait,
No,
Is Bailey there as well?
Bailey's not. No,
Oh, okay.
we're not.
I
doing
kind of
full-
enjoyed that draft segment you did last time, though, Joe. I must say.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was fun. We should
All
do
right.
we should do one more of those. I think
We
before the
should, we
season's
should.
done.
Yeah. I agree.
We should do and final day draft.
Yeah.
I like that.
We,
I like that.
Joe,
Celebrating a title.
Have you gone back and checked out that blank game week draft that we did and how we all did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have it somewhere that
Okay.
we definitely drafted.
I mean, we drafted, but have you checked the scores though?
Oh no, nope,
Can't say I did.
definitely not that. Look, Toddy, the show's already been hard enough. Okay, I don't need you to pile on here. All right, here is your fourth option for the spine of your midfield. It is going to be none other than the aforementioned Lucas Paquetá. And yes, he might be moving teams. He might be switching teams. But for now, he's going to fall right into this exact same conversation that we've been having. 9.8 points per start, 7.4 ghosts, which, again, interesting. And as you look at his recent numbers, 4, 2.5, 10.5, 15, 4.5, 15, 9. There are some stinkers in there. Decent floor, though. Decent
I have
floor
him as well.
And I'm frustrated with him.
Okay, I was going to ask. Yeah.
I don't see the question. Are managers frustrated? So I wasn't
No,
sure
that's why.
if we could,
it just seems
we
like
could
he should be
say-
better.
if we could even mention our frustration or lack thereof.
Please.
Just say if he seems like he should be better or not.
I thought that
Stick
was funny
to
when
the
I wrote it.
script. Seems like he should be
Better?
yeah, I have him as well, and I have this week is the first round bye, and so game week 37 will be the semis, and I've just been struggling for weeks if I'm gonna play him in that pivotal game.
Same.
The fact that they're playing against Luton is nice, but I also have Bowen, so it's like it's a lot to bet on.
Are you gonna
consistent West Ham side?
burn 2 midfield spots on 2 West Ham midfielders?
Oh,
Yeah, it's risky. But
Even if
I mean, he's had some monsters as well, and it's Luton. So
yeah.
depending on my options, I mean, it's not like
we all know you're gonna start him, and he's gonna drop a -0.5 point.
thanks.
What
Toddy. I
you
mean,
need to do is check if you're actually facing him in other leagues, and
That's
then
a fair-
know what to
that's a fair
start him.
point.
That's
And
how you
yeah.
should build your playoff roster. Actually, just see who you're facing. and just
Joe,
match up.
you need to feed me some data as well.
Yeah, we both,
Yeah.
we both have to. Yeah.
This is not
Try
no
to try
fucking
to
around.
game your
territory.
own system. Yeah.
Oh man.
No.
Yeah.
Or Joe needs to go to a fortune teller and remove the curse.
I do need to do that.
Question. Paquetá goes to a plucky city who's finally got the money to buy him next season.
Thank God. They've been
I mean, statement signing.
struggling for so long.
Yeah.
They deserve it.
They finally get this upgrade.
Yeah.
Where do you draft him there? Is he a Mateus Nunes? Is he better with a bunch more weapons around him, or is he less so because he's not going to be doing penalties and he's not going to be the main man? It's a tricky one.
I'm expecting if he's there, I'm expecting Ilkay Gundogan rather than Mateus Nunes.
Okay. does he play, though?
I'm looking to draft him. If he's going
not-
to
he's not
City,
the same
I'm looking
player
to
as
get
Gundogan.
him.
You don't think he's going to be overdrafted? I feel like these guys that are pretty good and then they go on City, that's just like inflated value.
I think like
Plus pep tax first season. Who's hit the ground running?
Doku. Doku has been the only one, essentially. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning
Yeah.
of the season, and then I think everybody who had Doku has been pretty.
Yeah,
upset
I mean,
the last
it's
3 months.
it's the 8-game City winger stretch came early for him.
So
and
it
then-
sounds like
it.
I'm not drafting him.
Yeah, I mean, I can see your point, Ryan. I can see people. I think
Where do you
Even-
think he was going to go? And where
Even-
would you like him to go if you're drafting?
even this season, I think people were reaching on Kovacic, which was strange. But yeah, I think he's gonna go like at the similar
Fourth?
stage between 4th and 6th. And obviously I'd rather pick him up later, but
I'm gonna say yeah. I'll take him in the
He's not last in the 6th. I
No.
think it's probably in the 4th. Maybe late 3rd if people are frisky.
I mean, if he's okay, so we are drafting first week of August. There are
Yeah.
rumors, but he's still a West Ham badge
Yeah.
next to his name. Where are you getting him? You need to reach much higher, like end of 3rd. He'll be gone.
If he's still on West Ham,
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh.
You think if he
I'd
goes
rather-
to City early, he'll be drafted
I
later.
think if he goes to City early, I think in like good leagues where you have people not drafting on the basis of the badge, I think he'll drop later. I'd rather have him
Maybe,
on
yeah,
West
because we know
Ham than
about the
City.
we know about the City rotation, and there'll be that built-in like bias.
I don't know. He's currently the 29th overall midfielder in terms of points per game scoring. Just ahead of the guy we're about to talk about. But if we sort by overall fantasy points, he is, let's see, 30th.
Out
30th.
of
So
the
he's right there.
four we've talked about today,
Mhm.
4 midfielders, he's coming in second for me after Gallagher.
Okay.
I think he's got the most upside, more than
Yeah.
Gallagher, I would say. So he's
But-
riskier.
Yeah, but Gallagher has a choice of going, or has a chance of going to a spot that actually helps him.
Mm.
I mean, yeah. Not sure.
Yeah.
That's a murky
It's a tough one.
4th, 5th round. for
Well, and what's
midfielders.
funny about it is like, on name value alone, before I kind of was preparing for this segment, I thought, oh yeah, you got the question marks about City and all that, and will he, exactly like you said, will he be a Nunez? But when I looked at his numbers, I was surprised because I honestly thought he was better.
Should
Seems
he
like
be?
he should be better.
I mean, eye test. He's such a bowler.
He's great.
I test. He is.
Such a bowler.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nightmare. Him and Kudus together, they are an absolute nightmare.
Trying to think where he slots into a City lineup.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. I think it makes sense
Oh, I guess
that he's
Bernardo
a box
Silva
crusher.
is finally gonna fucking leave.
Oh.
Yeah, that spot.
Well, I don't even know what that fucking spot is.
Everywhere.
True.
Seriously.
and
Basically everywhere.
it all depends on whether KDB gets fucked again at the Euros or something.
Probably.
No,
will.
well, I mean, the chances are likely.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't want to think about the next draft. Jesus. Game
I mean-
37. Focus.
I don't.
I mean,
I never
if
want to
Kane-
think about drafting City players.
If KDB's out or has a niggling injury and Silva is gone to Barcelona, then I'm definitely taking Paqueta in round 3.
Yeah.
3. Yeah, 3 still seems pretty. Maybe
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah.
late there.
Late. Yeah. 3. Yeah. 3 is actually kind of pricey. We'll see. I don't know. But okay. All right. That's fair. And if he stays, you're expecting more of the same, right?
Would you rather Paqueta than Rodri?
Yes.
In fantasy.
No, I'm taking Rodri.
Yes.
Ooh.
As a housekeeper.
Pocket tough.
Rodri
I'd rather have a beer with Paqueta, I think.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Rodri seems insufferable.
No, I'll take that bear with Rodri.
Damn. Okay.
Well,
He's a great player. Like,
we
Tuck in
are
your
all
shirt.
getting beers with Paqueta, and you're on your own
I'll take-
dates
I'll
with Rodri.
I'll take the Brazilian than the fucking cleaned up Spaniard.
Yeah.
that won the treble last season.
Oh yeah, that'd be really fun to talk about City winning fucking treble.
You could learn a lot from like talented people. So I take Rodri.
You're not wrong. And your
No,
answers are very
Paqueta has
genuine.
zero
Sanji.
talent.
Your answers are so genuine, and we're just crapping on it. And I apologize.
I don't.
Quite okay.
Never hang out with him.
All right, last one of the midfielders who arguably are in this bunch, although I don't know. It's going to be Andreas Pereira. We hardly ever talk about this man. Literally, we just don't. We just don't talk about him at all. 9.2 points per start this season, 7.2 ghosts per start, so less than some of the previous couple we've talked about already. you can see he has a history of basically every kind of, not every other game necessarily, but just here and there, he will go on quite poor runs of form where he just does almost nothing. Disappear for entire matches, get subbed off kind of early in like the 60th minute. And yeah, so as you look at his scores, 31 against West Ham, 24 against Forest, 20 against Sheffield United. So question, maybe, is he a bit of a flat track bully, right? Kind of hard to say, but maybe. And then 27% goal assist clean sheet reliance for his fantasy points. You love to see that. So that's kind of fantastic. But again, those fantasy points at 9.2 are not quite as high as the previous guys we've been talking about. So for me, it kind of feels like he has this kind of name value / recognition that I don't know. Looking at the numbers, I feel like he doesn't really deserve.
I think he's missing his partner in crime. He hasn't fully recovered from that.
So he's just sad?
Probably.
Every fourth game, he's sad.
Is he getting minus points?
It's like
Is he getting
relapse.
minus points for sadness?
Just every now and then. Yeah, probably. You never know. But I mean, he's still starting consistently. Like Fulham, the thing is, Fulham have been such a Jekyll and Hyde team this season, man. Like teams that you expect them to lose against, they smash. Teams that you expect them to beat easily, it's like they lose by a little bit. Like it was hard to predict them. So I don't know. I feel like I'd probably take Andreas around the corner point of your list, Totti. I think I'd go probably like between him and Connor 1 and 2 in the list of players that we mentioned.
I'd go Connor, Paqueta, Pereira, Guimaraes, JWP.
Wow, that's so low for JWP.
Yeah.
Sic transit gloria mundi.
The thing is, like, Andres takes set pieces, has the pens pull as well. Like, is Paqueta gonna have pens at City? Highly unlikely.
I mean, nobody can take pens at City, so he might have them. Did we think Cole Palmer is gonna come in and take pens at Chelsea?
To be honest, I'm still waiting on the Edison penalty. That's the one that I'm waiting on.
Yeah, he's injured.
So they say. I don't know. I don't believe any manager these days in press conferences.
Andres is that player where, Ryan, you'll know this well, where you'll see him in your opponent's lineup, and you'll click on him and you'll look at his like scores over the last few weeks, and you'll see, okay, 0, wow, okay, 5, 3, 7, holy shit, okay, all right. And then he drops 19.5 on you, or 15 or whatever it is.
31.
Yeah.
31, baby.
Yeah.
He's absolutely that player.
Yeah, he's an enigma. I had him 2 years ago, and ruined him after he had that good start. So yeah, he's a weird one. I don't know where. Yeah, he's like has 6th round pegged all over him for me.
6th round.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? If I can get him in the 6th, that feels like a really good 6th round pick.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
can get him in the 6th, then you're good.
And that's exactly the type of player I would love to target there, because like you said, Sanji, all of the things that he's basically just guaranteed to get with the play time, some sets, all those things, you don't find that as often in the 6th round, or even really arguably the 5th.
Yeah, he just feels like a reliable guy, like to help support your cast of other players. Like, you can count on him. I feel.
He'd help you move if you needed him to. He's your one friend who's got a truck, so he would like help you.
I mean, 6th round is pretty high because, like, this is a random draft that I just opened up, and it went Iwobi, Van Dijk, Evan Ferguson, and Ciso, Guimaraes, Bernardo Silva, Sancho, Casemiro, Hamed Traore, Andres Pereira, Richarlison.
Hey, recently, Hamid Traore has absolutely been living up to that. Wait, sorry. I'm thinking of Hamer. My bad. I'm thinking of
I was like,
Gustavo.
what are you watching Syria? What the hell?
Yeah, I was like, oh, finally I
Tell
can
us about it.
talk about Lazio's new tactics under Igor Tudor.
Been looking for a way to shoehorn Serie A into this pod.
There you go.
Sorry, I was thinking of Gustavo Hamer, who I'm in love with recently. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know who was talking.
I was reading out the 6th round draft picks, and
Yeah.
you could
So-
get Pereira in the 6th round last season or this current season as well.
And I
Yeah,
think you-
he's just got a 6th round written all over him.
I think you'll
it's like-
be able to do it again. Yeah.
It's like 5th rounds for like kind of punts, high upside punts. It could be boom or bust, and then the 6th, you're like, yeah, I want something a little bit more steady in the aggregate.
And all those guys were guys we thought would kind of continue to perform at a, or at least, you know, take a step in their career. Like look at that Ferguson pick. It's understandable why whoever took him there would have. Other players, you know, you just thought
See who
they
I
would.
took in the 5th round.
Casemiro thought they would kick on from last season, didn't. But yeah, it's all kind of like guys to build, kind of like the backbone of your squad.
Yeah.
I feel like also like of all the players we've discussed so far as well, I get like in terms of like certainty of regarding his situation with the club and everything, I feel like he's the most settled player of the entire list so far. Like there's no we're not talking about like, oh, which other club is gonna poach him, or is he gonna move to Serie A or whatever like that, right? So
Yeah.
not
And
having that
that's a-
worry is like makes it a lot comforting to take him even higher, I think, in the list
I
of
mean,
players that were.
he has Joe player written all over him.
That's 100% true.
You can pick him up round 5-ish. He'll get you big games. He'll get you crappy games enough so that you have someone to get frustrated with.
Yes, thank
but-
you. You can bitch
but
and
he won't be-
complain.
We'll
Yeah,
be
but
rotated.
He won't be shit enough to drop. So you don't have to go for 5 games that he scores 0 on a
Mhm.
5-game stretch. He's not injury prone. It's not going to be a huge tactical shift that makes him shit, whatever. It's just like, it's Joe. It's Joe in a fantasy player.
He's tough to watch, though. I mean, just like me this episode, but but he's tough to watch because he is a shithouser. Like he through and through. Like he's so
You
dramatic.
can get the boy out of
He'll
United,
fucking
but you
writhe
can't get
around on the
United out
pitch.
of
I
boy.
mean, he just
Yeah,
yeah.
he is.
God.
All right, guys. So you gotta lock in your answers. So we have James Ward-Prowse, Conor Gallagher, Bruno G, Paquetá, and Andres Pereira for next year. You get 2 of them as the backbone of your midfield.
I mean, Paquetá and Gallagher are the 2 best players, I would say.
Yeah, same for me.
Sanji, you said
So-
Gallagher and
Pereira.
Pereira.
Andreas, I think. Yeah, I think Andreas top just at the like right now if we're choosing because of the situation about where they are going with respect to which club and all that sort of stuff. So I think I'd go Andreas and Connor. Yeah, because I just don't know what to expect in terms of output when certain players leave already. We don't have any sort of sample. It's a total risk, and it could pay off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
if
could
we
be
if we are actually drafting today for a league next season, then drafting 2 players who have difficult or uncertain futures, who could end up like, I could see a scenario where Gallagher and Paquetá are the 2 highest scorers out of all of these, but neither of them gets any minutes in August
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they are
Betting in.
because they are being frozen out by their old clubs with a transfer situation going on, and then transfer going through, not playing, getting subbed on, whatever, for the first few games, whatever. So there's definitely a Pereira is the least risky of all of the players that we've talked about.
Yeah.
So pairing him up with a higher upside, riskier pick is a good team building.
So maybe Pereira and Paquetá, really.
Yeah, or Pereira and Gallagher is fine as well, I think.
Yeah.
Gallagher is safer for points than Paquetá.
Yeah.
Even if he goes anywhere, he's
that.
not gonna go to a team and play full on defensive midfielder. And he's probably going to a team where he's going to play.
All right. There you have it. Do you want to do defenders or do you want to wrap it up?
How many defenders you got?
2.
Let's do
them.
All
Let's do
right.
it live.
Here we go.
it live.
Do it live. All right. The first one was asked for by the Inner Circle. They wanted to get our take on him, given the end to the season that he's been having, versus the beginning of the season. That, of course, is Virgil van Dijk. So look at these numbers.
I don't want to look at these numbers.
August to February, 10.8 points per game. March and April, 4.25. 4.25 points per game in the last 2 months. That's insane. Obviously, form has been miserable. So has the form of the entire team. Doesn't help him, I will add, that basically he hasn't had a consistent pairing, a consistent co-pilot, if we'll go back to that, for the last 2 to 3 months. He's constantly dealing with a new person next to him every single match. So
he's also dealing with
being shit.
having forgotten how to defend set pieces.
Yep.
I mean that it's like selective amnesia.
Wow.
No, I mean you're completely right. And like there are times where you just watch him and he just does. It seems like he's not trying. It's very disheartening. So let's talk next season.
Okay. We'll do it live. No, we'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with Van Dijk next season.
Okay.
All right. I mean, assuming he's still there. What's going on there, actually?
He's going to be
you
in
guys
the last
are
year of
the
his
Liverpool
contract.
fans. Yeah, fair.
I
mean,
I think
as fans, would you
needs
want him to stay, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to sign a contract. There's no way we are doing anything without a solid-ish centre back next to these clowns that he has been playing next to.
He's another guy that, like, normally I would say great player, had a dip, could probably get him for value, but like again, his name recognition is through the roof, so
that's the thing.
He's not going to slip. So
that's the thing. As I was just going to mention that is that people when they're stuck, like even your league mates who are seasoned and they know what they're doing, if they get hemmed up in a spot in the draft, they see his name floating there, they're going to be like, oh, Virgil, of course. Okay, grab him. He's going to go earlier than he should in, I think, almost every league.
Yeah.
Is my
I don't
thought.
know what
No,
Slot's
if you're
defense is like.
if you're not willing to take him in the first 4 rounds, then you're not getting him.
I feel like he went late in this season's drafts, though. No?
Well, remember last season was completely terrible for Liverpool. Like it was what we're doing now, except for for longer.
Yeah. It was the last few weeks, I think 8-10
Yeah.
weeks. They were
So
decent.
he might that might have been baked into his draft value, Sanchi, because last year he was 7.9 points per game, which is somehow worse than this year.
Yeah, in the same draft that I just read out, he went in the 6th. In the Community League Gold League, he went at 412.
Yeah.
That's crazy high.
Yeah. But I mean, you're used to 18, 19, 13.1 points per game, 19, 20, 11.3, 21, 22, 11.1. This season 9, and we all recognize that he's having a bad end of the year. To start the year, he was great. So yeah, I'm probably shying away. I'm with you, Toddy. I'm kind of shying away because I think he's going to go earlier than I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, same.
All right. Last but not least, you guys ready for this? Ryan, Benny Blanco. Benny Blanco.
I want to hear Ryan's take on this because I had a bet with Drafted Thoughts at very early, beginning of the season, like after the second game, that based on what we knew about Ben White and generally Arsenal defenders ghosting, I bet that the second worst United right back will have a better war than Ben White.
I mean, I wouldn't have made that bet, but I mean the analysis was spot on. I mean, if you looked at the numbers of Ben White and the fullbacks under Arteta, I think you're right. Because I made the calculation that Gabriel Magalhaes ghosted the best, and so I took him. I wanted an Arsenal defender because I figured they'd keep a tight ship. So I took him in every league. But yeah, Ben White ended up being the pick of the litter. And I think that'll continue. Although I'm really excited to see Timber on the left, and he's going to be such a weird draft pick next season because he's coming off an ACL, but he's also going to be in the best defense in the league, and he's exciting and yada yada. So I think he's going to vary a lot. I'd probably overdrafted if I had to guess. But yeah, I think Ben White is going to be solid regardless because he never gets injured. He'll be nailed on. Everything goes through the right side through him and Saka overlapping with each other. So he's going to get in all of those pockets and dangerous positions. So I don't see his scores changing that much.
But what's the difference this season and last season? Obviously, clean sheets have gone up.
Well, I mean, the Tomiyasu was playing a lot of right back. I think this was the first season that Ben White was really nailed on every single game. I'd have to look at the numbers again, but and I think he's been a center half, so I think he's still getting used to the right back spot, and then him and Saka just built up a great connection. So yeah, I think that's the reason. Plus more clean sheets, I think, this season.
Yeah,
so that helps. That helps the numbers.
Yeah,
he's. What are his ghosts again?
51%.
51% GACS.
Yeah.
Ghost points 6.5.
Yeah.
Per start.
Yeah. So the analysis was still spot on. He's just getting more attacking returns and clean sheets than probably bargained for.
And if you think those clean sheets continue, then I think he's a solid bet. Because Arsenal have the fewest goals conceded in the league, right? 25 or something.
Yeah, and most of those are fucking goalkeeper giveaways. So you have at least 3 more clean sheets based on that, honestly.
Yeah.
Get a new goalkeeper in again.
Something to think about.
Yeah, Kappa is available.
Gotta sell. Trying to sell Ramsdale to Chelsea.
Only if he can coach the team as well. That's the only reason Kepa takes that job.
There you go. I mean, given his numbers this season, there's going to be people who sort by that and take
That's the
him
thing.
in the fourth.
Yeah,
Like,
third, fourth.
yeah.
For value, I'd probably still do Magalhaes or Timber, depending on where he falls.
Yeah.
So if you're on the clock, round 5, you want to take a defender, and you have Magalhaes and White there, would you still take Magalhaes?
No, I'd take White over Gabriel if I had to at the same spot.
No, because you can get Gabriel later.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
I'm not sure you can pick him much later.
Not that much later. Probably
A round later. Yeah.
Like 8?
Magalhaes is eighth in scoring overall. Ben White is second, right behind James Tarkowski.
Tarkio. God,
I want that Arsenal defensive stack next season. 100%.
Yeah.
I want that Everton defensive stack. Brentwaite. Where's Brentwaite?
Said only you. No, honestly, Brentwaite was going to be on here. I actually had him on this slide before Ben White, and then I started looking at his numbers. I don't know. That's a conversation for the offseason. It's not as impressive as some people want to make it out to be.
He's much better in real life than his numbers suggest.
Exactly.
Is he though? Like, there's been so much hype around him getting like a big money move, and I don't see it. He's fine. He's like a Tarkowski.
He's young,
solid,
he's
but
English,
he's not.
and he is a decent Premier League level centre back. I think that's the trifecta.
But
I mean,
Everton's probably his level, I would say.
The thing is, English media also are great at overhyping players as well. So they do great media. So
this is true.
What top,
I think he'd be
other than Spurs?
What
What top 6 club does he start at?
wait, is Chelsea a top 6 club?
No. Not currently.
I think he'd start at Chelsea, obviously. But
Yeah, he actually would. Yeah, easily.
honestly, he may be a better option to partner up Van Dijk than anyone we have right now.
I was
Isn't he a Liverpool fan?
I'll take Natty Ice all day.
Yeah.
He's the same player. You can't tell me he's better on the ball than freaking Natty Ice.
True.
No.
True. He's
Yeah.
a
He
wizard.
didn't learn it under Dyche, that's for damn sure.
Draft Alchemy saying United could use him.
I could totally see that.
Yeah. That's right. Are they a top 6 club though?
No.
Hopefully not.
He said if we're top 6. That's
No.
good self-awareness. I like that.
He
I
fit in at
mean,
Newcastle.
If you're looking at the current top 6, we are debating Liverpool. We definitely say that he'd start for Spurs. He'd probably start for Villa. So essentially, he's not starting for Arsenal, not starting for City.
I don't think he starts for Villa.
No?
who they have Carlos and Pau, right?
Yeah.
And Mings.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh yeah.
Mings-yo.
True. I forgot Mingsy.
Those are like low-key really good players. Like
Better than Brentwaite.
Villa has done such an incredible job with their transfers. They
And Emmy is
Truly.
coming back as well.
truly.
Oh, truly missed Emmy, man. From a dynasty perspective as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
I don't know. Yeah, it'd be tricky. Villa's a very tricky squad outside of Watkins for fantasy purposes. Very tricky.
I think they strengthen in some departments. I think
They need to,
Like
which
I
will
said,
make
that
it even
Bailey-
more tricky.
Yeah. Where do
I
you?
think that Bailey role, I think, is
I mean, I expect Arsenal and maybe United and maybe Spurs to try to get Watkins.
I think it'll be too Yeah, I mean, we just talked about the English tax will be too expensive, I think.
Yeah, but I think everyone who's looking for a forward and is considering an English forward would rather Watkins than Tony.
Probably, but I don't think we'll get either, to be honest.
How much
I could
younger
see,
is
like,
Watkins than Tony?
Tony's what, 29, and Watkins will be 26.
28.
He's 28?
I know, right? I just looked it up. That's
He's
crazy.
a young soul. He's a
I
young
did
soul.
not. He looks young. The man's he's blessed.
Yeah, he
with
does.
The facial department. He looks.
Yeah,
he looks
he doesn't
way
have
young.
any neck tattoos, which takes a couple of years off.
It does. It does. Don't tell that to Skamaka.
He's an Adonis.
Really?
All right,
He
game week
looks
36.
looks 15.
A 15-year-old who's smoked his entire life. Anyway, all right.
Wow.
Cigarettes
Game
out of
week
himself.
36 streamers. Let's do this. Okay, Sanji, you are first this week. Hit us with your streamers for this game week 36.
Yeah. So I kind of looked at this from like playoff perspective, specifically. I think for a couple of them. So I went
Are
with Burnley. Oh, what's up?
Are you considering these players from a perspective of trying to get more points than your opponent?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Because that's what Ryan always lives by.
Yeah, you start your best 11 and then you win the game week. That's how it goes. Right?
That's not
what I
how
hear.
it goes. I start my best
wish
11
that's
all
how
the
it
time and find ways to lose. So
So I'll start with Burnley goalkeeper. So Muric, since I think he got his first start back in March 16th, he's actually been, I think, the highest scoring goalkeeper in the league. He's currently averaging 13 to 14 points per game. He had a couple of stinkers recently, I think like 2 3-point games, but other than that, like he's been scoring like very, very good. And
wow.
he's quite lowly owned. There's still a bit of a tight relegation race down there at the bottom. So yeah, they're gonna need to pull out all the stops, right, to try and stay in the league. It's gonna be an interesting last day for them as well, because are Burnley away to Nottingham Forest?
Yeah,
No, they're at home to Forest. Yeah. So like both teams will definitely be trying to score goals and all that sort of stuff. So I just think like Muric, yeah, he's an absolute monster at the moment. So if you can get him, get him. So I mean, staying on the Burnley train, before I go to Aina, Odebear, just absolute ghost machine as well. They'll need to score goals. He's getting starts. He's scoring well, like easy forward 3. Like a lot of managers would have lost Semenyo, I think, last game week. So he's like the perfect sort of replacement for that role, I think.
Yeah.
So speaking of Aina, he played in a back 5 system against City, and he ghosted quite well. To be honest, he had a great game versus Kyle Walker as well. So I think if Nuno sticks with that, I like Aina's chances at a possible clean sheet this game week. Like Sheffield United, they're kind of playing with the handbrake off because they've already been relegated, but their home form has been absolutely atrocious. So I like Aina.
They're just hurtling towards the cliff.
Honestly, but like it's kind of refreshing to see, because I feel like right now they're playing some of their best football at the moment. But I think there's opportunity for Aina to get attack and returns in this game. And then finally, Ouattara versus Arsenal. This is a very like tough pick to make, but it's mainly because if Ouattara plays OOP in that defensive role, he's gonna have a lot of work potentially to do versus Arsenal. They're not gonna have a lot of the ball, so I just like him as like a forward 3. He could ghost really, really well in that game. So yeah, those are my picks.
Nice. All right, Toddy, you are up next.
I have Wharton, who's playing the Conor Gallagher role.
Crowd
At
favorite,
Palace.
man. The community is loving him.
Yeah. And he got an assist last game week, so yeah, I like him. against United, which is always an easy game. Montiel coming in for Nottingham Forest for the injured Nico Williams against Sheffield United, and Lewis Potter or Damsgaard against Fulham. I read an interesting article or a thread, sort of musing on whether now that Brentford are safe, do they even want to start Tony and potentially get him injured? Because there's not like if he scores 4 goals in the next 3 games, does his value even rise that much? But if he gets injured or if something happens to him, then his value drops, and they need to try to sort of mimic or try to set up for games without him.
That's a fair point.
He
I bet
hasn't really
he's
put himself
down
in
for
the
that,
shop window, though. Really, right? Like
he's been
Everyone
off.
knows what he can do.
Yeah. But everyone's interested in him based on what he has been able to do for seasons. So I don't think that changes a lot with the last few game weeks.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's had a slight injury though, from what I've heard. So I don't.
Yeah.
I think people are just blowing it out of proportion. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair as well. Yeah, I mean they still want to probably win games. So
Nice. All right, Ryan, round it out for us.
All right. Yeah, Livramento is somebody I punted on a few weeks ago. In very competitive leagues, I doubt he's still available, but he ended up being the best ghosting Newcastle defender last week. We're all hoping for a clean sheet against Sheffield United at home, but didn't pan out. So I'm guessing that'll probably happen to Forest defenders as well, but oh well.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got the added benefit of having a double after a nice matchup this weekend versus Burnley. So I think he'll keep his spot even if Trippier comes back, because he'll just shift over to the left, I reckon. So he's a lot more safe than someone like Hall. Plus he randomly scored better than him last week, which doesn't happen often. So I like him. The Tomiyasu, I assume, will keep his spot versus Bournemouth, although he didn't have a great game, I would say, against Spurs. Plus he's obviously very fragile. So I still reckon he gets the start, but there's always room for Kiwi. It's the first game of the game week, or second game, because there's a Friday game, but it's the early game on Saturday. So yeah, I would just
nice.
watch for lineups for that one. I like Reina to come back into the starting 11 for Forest. They'll probably need him for a matchup like Sheffield United, a bit more creativity. So yeah, I like him for that.
He has a good projection as well. Like I think he's around 8-11.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty well when he starts. And you got
dropped against City,
obviously,
which makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the only reason he's probably on your wire.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things that you could obviously see him not starting, but he's worth the punt given the matchup and everything else. And yeah, Morgan Rogers versus Brighton. I mean, Brighton is just in such a funk. So even at Brighton, you still got a fancy Villa assets here. Doesn't ghost all that well, but you could obviously see him getting an attacking return or two potentially against an out of sorts Brighton. So I like him in that one as well. Plus, they're still fighting for top 4, although Spurs will probably relinquish it pretty soon mathematically.
They're playing Chelsea though.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Fair enough. Oh, Lord. All right. Let's bring this one to a close. Put people out of their misery. put me out of my misery. Let's be honest. Anyway, it's been incredible. Thanks for everyone who joined us. We had a blast, and yeah, even if I was messing a bunch of shit up, we still had a lot of fun, and that's what this is all about. Chat, you guys are incredible. Thank you so much for just coming in with comments all the time. Even if it's taking the piss or just like taking me down a peg, I love it. You guys are fantastic. Thanks for joining us live. Think about doing it if you haven't yet. If you're listening to this on the podcast version, think about joining us live on Wednesdays. It's a blast. But otherwise, we wish everyone best of luck on this game week. Go out there and kick your opponent's ass and just have a blast doing it. Anything else, guys? All right, we'll close her down. KPC out. Cheers, everyone. Take care.